I am offering this new quick video to help you uh, remember some of the many things I've asked you to do this week. So first of all, just as a reminder, in our course content, we have a class playlist on YouTube that should explain many things for you. But something that I have not explained fully or adequately that I want to go over really quickly is the question of intersex versus transgender. Intersex is covered in the Katie Couric video and also covered in the essay by Suzanne Kessler called The Medical Construction of Gender. It is a medical categorization and something that scientists study in terms of measuring a lot of data. On the other hand, transgender is the belief of an individual that they were born in the wrong body and they identify with a gender that doesn't match up with the gender and biological sex assigned at birth. Of course, there is scientific research about transgender as well, particularly in the Couric video. We saw the example of the transgender brain according to MRIs, but right now I just want to focus on the question of intersex. And I said to many of you that intersex is not having both male and female sex organs. And that's not a fully accurate explanation of intersex on my part. So I just want to clear it up that there is a condition, and it is the most rare intersex condition. It is about 1 in 150,000 people, and only about 25 of these people have been identified and studied since 1980. So this is extremely rare, whereas intersex, all the different reasons that people can be intersex, is in about 1 in 100 births, a very common thing that often people never learn about. And I'll tell you why in just a second. But this condition of true hermaphroditism is when there are primary sex characteristics of both sexes at birth. Usually the baby presents as a girl, but the doctor can palpate a lump in the genital area that is actually a testicular tissue. And that happens for very complicated genetic reasons that I've explained a little bit on the handout that I will add to the Stoltenberg chapter. And it is interesting because Stoltenberg talks about, in a scientific context, the reasons that we have genital tubercles, that the clitoris can be a microphallus and all of those words. Well, that's scientific terminology, and it's not inaccurate or made up. It's actually pretty true. So more helpful than that is this graphic from Scientific American. And I'm looking for a copy that's easier to read and look at. But essentially what we have is right over here on the graphic, a, quote, typical female, and then all through till we get to the middle where we have true hermaphroditism are many reasons that a typical female might present as an intersex individual. And then on the other side, we have the typical male and all of the reasons that that person might present as intersex. They tend to be different for males and females. And long story short, Scientific American now says that there's not two sexes. Biological sex is not a binary. And therefore, we need to think of sex in terms of this spectrum, and they even put it on the color spectrum. At the same time, I've been conversing with one of your classmates about the statement in the Bible that God created man and woman, and how do we reckon with that kind of statement? And personally, my reaction to that statement is, well, God is great and can do anything. So sure, God started with man and women, but look at all the wonderful things that God is capable of making in between. That seems to make perfect sense to me. And because of the technicality of many of these places in between the full green and the full magenta, they wouldn't have known about that in biblical times. We're only learning about it today. The other thing that I want to show you quickly and now this is too much stuff open, is that in the Stoltenberg chapter, I did make some annotations for you, and I also highlighted some things that I think you might find particularly interesting because it's a fairly long speech. So let me open that module. And on this Word document that your computer will possibly not open with annotations, I have highlighted and I have made comments. And this doesn't fully demonstrate all of the additions I made to this essay. I actually even added some pictures. So, for example, let's see, where's my pictures? I'm just saying here, like, oh yeah, this sounds like Kessler. And I added somewhere on one of the copies, I guess you have to click this link to see it, more information about people who who are intersex or who have characteristics that might look like intersex characteristics. And I also had an image that I added directly, but maybe that's not showing up. So I also will put the new graphic and the Scientific American link right in that Stoltenberg folder for you if you would like to look at it. And if you have any other questions, have a great week.